Summer 2022 is the season comparable to if your dad actually came home from getting milk.
And there's your final solution.
We have a bunch of shows that are returning from extended hiatus. Overlord, back after 4 years. Classroom of the Elite, back after 5. And probably the biggest surprise, Devil is a part-timer returning after 9 years. I'm sure these shows are going to take most of your priorities, but we still have a ton of newly airing animes. You got stuff like That Time I Got Reincarnated and Tamed a Slime, or That Time I Got Reincarnated and Summoned a Slime. If those aren't your speed, maybe you could watch This Demon Girl Needs a Kiss to Replenish Her Power, or This She-Devil Needs a Kiss to Replenish Her Power.
Corporate needs you to find the differences between this picture and this picture. They're the same picture.
Why am I even kidding? You guys are probably just watching the slave harem that definitely should have just been a porno. I'll keep it a buck. Summer, nowhere near as good as spring was, but that doesn't mean everything is trash. There's still a handful of solid shows with relatively interesting and unique concepts. Today, I'm going to go over my top 3 favorites and what makes them must-watches for summer 2022.
2018年初頭、多くの零細 YouTuber が広告収入を絶たれることとなり、おじさんのチャンネルも例外ではなかった。
That hits a little too close to home. I don't think there's many shows that are as self-aware as Isekai Ojisan. It's completely over the top in concept, but somehow very relatable. If we're being honest, Isekai is a super fucking saturated genre. Most of the shows you can kind of guess what's going to happen throughout. The MC will get hit by a truck, wakes up in another world, and then they're gonna go on a bunch of adventures. Of course, has to be accompanied by a bunch of attractive women, they'll become overpowered and defeat the demon lord, and who gives a shit. Isekai Ojisan is about the extremely rare cases where that doesn't happen. It does start out the same, dude gets hit by a truck, but instead of dying, he's put into a coma. While in said coma, Ojisan, don't actually know his name yet, lived his life in another world. And that world was not kind to him. After 17 years, he finally wakes up and now has to reassimilate himself into society. It's gonna be a struggle, but if he has the support of his loving family to help him get back on his feet, no one's there. Only his nephew Takafumi was there when he awoke, and his only choice then is to go live with him. Oji-san, being asleep for 17 years, a little bit out of it when he first comes to, and he starts talking some absolute nonsense.
ゲームハードセンスはどうなった？セガは？セガ？今？いや、とっくに撤退したけど。
He shares some stories of what happened to him in the coma, his tales of magic and adventure. Why would anyone believe that? Well, this man can back it up. He says he can use magic, and you know what? He can actually use magic. Magic. So now we have this situation where we have this uncle who just woke up from a 17-year coma, has no skills, but can perform magic. What do? Oh, you exploit his ass for YouTube videos. The character dynamics within the show are its strong suit. Although the two main characters are related, they know next to nothing about each other. Watching them grow their relationship and learn about each other's past is a huge draw to the show. I also mentioned earlier about how self-aware the show is. The manga first aired in mid-2018, and you can definitely tell. The references and jokes are way more in tune with current events, and as a YouTuber, I've experienced a lot of what Oji-san goes through. The whole adpocalypse thing where you had to have more strict methods to get into the partner program, the hate comments, and the surprising amount of support you can get from your audience. It's such an over-the-top concept, but is filled with these real-life experiences that I think anyone could relate to.
一つてめえに仕事をやる。ゴリラ倒せとかかな。杉原。それで仕事って。こいつと二人で動画配信をやれ。は？動画配信？
What the hell is this season? It's recently been more common to have animes that take a more serious or intense protagonist and put them in vulnerable situations. A Yakuza member becoming a stay-at-home dad, like in The Way of the House Husband, or the world's greatest spy raising a family, like in Spy Family.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I really like this dynamic because it shows that anyone, regardless of their upbringing or past, is capable of being compassionate and caring. The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting is just another show to add to the list. It's pretty much a combination of those previous two shows I mentioned, but even more wholesome. Toru, known as the Demon of Sakuragi, is tasked with taking care of his boss's daughter. Despite being one of the most feared members in all of the Yakuza, he accepts the task and honestly, he's great at it. There's really not much to say about the show except it's pure vibes. It just makes you feel good when watching. You know, everyone within the clan are genuinely nice people, and even the daughter Yaika is absolutely adorable. She's obviously in a very strange position being so young and being the daughter of a Yakuza boss, but it just warms your heart to see everyone doing their best for her and to see her reciprocate those actions. Every episode has been great so far, even that filler one that I used in the intro clip. Sometimes you just need to turn your brain off and feel good, and the Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting is just that.
脱毛赤斑鼻声7割9分2厘の確率であなたは梅毒なのです
You strike me as a man who has syphilis.
I'm almost positive this show flew over most people's radar. Shine On, Bakumatsu Bad Boys, or as I refer to it, is definitely the hidden gem of the season. We're back in the samurai era. A bunch of masked demons annihilate all but one member of the Shinsengumi, the group who's responsible for maintaining peace and order. That's like not super chill, and peace is threatened because the protectors, they're dead. Substitutes are needed and fast, so what better place to look than criminals? A group of prisoners are given the option of either being executed or joining the Shinsengumi. They all join, except this dude.
Yo, holy shit, he dead!
Now, these former criminals are tasked with protecting the order they once disturbed. I'll be honest, straight out of the gate, the show is not perfect. We're introduced to a lot of characters at once and are expected to care about them. MCs are pretty copy-pasted, just kind of like that Naruto and Sasuke dynamic and rivalry. We haven't had any major developments or twists, just kind of learning some more about the characters and watching them complete missions. However, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Sometimes you just want to watch a show where I guess in this case the quote-unquote good guys fight bad guys. The art style is fantastic and has this like textured overlay that gives it a more historical aesthetic. The music is banging and the action scenes flow really well. Each character is dynamic enough to keep you interested, and I'm genuinely curious to see how the story develops. This very well could just end up being an average to below average samurai show, but I think it's worth giving it a shot, if at least to listen to that opening. You know, there's a few other shows that I've liked so far, but just didn't crack my top 3. Call of the Night is perhaps the most visually stunning show of the season. The color palette is phenomenal and the music is some of the best I've heard. The story is kind of weak at some points, which is my major knock, but in terms of visuals, it's at the very top. Then we got shows like Licorice Recall, which is basically like a 90s buddy cop show, but with cute girls. It's like a PG version of Psycho Pass. There's nothing really new feeling about it, but the art is nice and the characters are pretty decent. Futo Tante is another show that I'd keep my eye on, but since there's only one episode that's aired so far, I can't recommend it just yet. I will say, and I have stated in previous videos, that you do gotta be watching Summertime Rendering and Aoashi. They're still going on right now, and they absolutely fucking slap. Summer 2022 has definitely been weaker than the previous few seasons, but there's still some new animes to keep your eye on. What are you all watching this season? Make sure to let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to support me further, you can check out my Patreon. There's a bunch of cool rewards there, like picking games for streams, Discord badges, early access, exclusive content, or even getting shoutouts at the end of videos like That Rat Murrow, Marshall Cox, Peppy Jewel, Nicholas Gutierrez, Tech Rob, Shaky Pants, and Chupa. That's all I got for you this time. Hope to see you here again.